Hi, this is Carrie Margaret from Love Notes. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what to do when he ghosts or she ghosts. What to do when you're ghosted. And wow, I know that brings up terrible feelings for so many of us, and confusion and things like beating ourselves up like we did something wrong. Oh, we must, did we do something wrong? Why has this person not responded or completely disappeared? And there's so much goodness to go into on this one, and such a vulnerable place to be. So if you are sitting in this right now, just sending you a big hug. And you're a human being, and it doesn't feel good to not be responded to. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here. So first of all, I got some coaching this morning from Hal Elrod, who wrote the Miracle Morning and the Miracle Equation. And he has this amazing tool that he uses. It's called the 5-minute rule. He says that he lives his life by the 5-minute rule. And with the 5-minute rule, he actually learned this when he was in sales from a sales manager who said that sales is a microcosm of life, that you're going to have to deal with tons of disappointments and people that cancel appointments at the last time, that a sale that's about to go through, that's a major sale that just falls through the cracks, and it's a major training ground for life because you're going to have to deal with setbacks and disappointments. And so the sales manager taught him this tool, this 5-minute rule, where when something happens that is a setback or a frustration, and ghosting, oh my God, can feel like a setback and a frustration and bring up all these terrible childhood feelings that I'll get into in a minute. What you want to do is you want to give yourself 5 minutes, time it on your phone, give yourself 5 minutes, and feel all of the feelings that you need to feel. Everything. Every single feeling that comes up, let yourself feel that for 5 minutes. And let's talk a little bit about the feelings that might come up. Now, you are a totally unique individual, and you have had unique experiences and a unique childhood. You have a unique thumbprint, unique skills and character strengths. I have a great video on character strengths and the jewel that you are as a person. All of this stuff is amazingly unique to you. And you've had unique challenges and unique painful moments. And so the exact emotions that come up are going to be unique to you. You might feel like you're beating yourself up, like, what did you do wrong? Or, no, this happened to me again. Or it could be a sense of shame, or it could be a sense of guilt, or it could be anger, or it could be embarrassment. Dating can feel really vulnerable, so it can be embarrassment about putting yourself out there and not getting responded to. Whatever you're feeling is going to be unique to you. Everybody can feel a different shade of things. And you might be feeling a major sense of abandonment because dating situations can trigger early childhood stuff with caretakers, where whether or not we were abandoned, we might have felt that we could have been. For example, you could have the most amazing parents in the world, and for some reason, at one moment, in a large family, you were like left behind for a second in a shopping mall. And you're just trailing a little behind. Your mother knew where you were, but you didn't feel like your mother knew where you were. And all of a sudden you thought, I was abandoned. My mother left me, or my father left me. And that feeling of abandonment can come up. And then there are other examples of abandonment where parents actually leave, or where, people never actually even knew their parents, or parents abandoned them by having drug addictions or depression, or not being emotionally available, or being workaholics, or not being able to be present, or not really being able to. A lot of childhood stuff comes from the fact that like your parents loved you very much, but they just didn't love themselves very much. Dr. Nima talks about this a bunch. Love this idea that that your parents did love you. They just didn't love themselves enough to connect with you always in the way that you felt like you needed to be connected to as a child. So you can have these abandonment feelings, and they can be very strong because they're feelings that were imprinted in you before age 7. Okay? And they're deeply in your body, and they can be cleared. So yes, you can go to a coach or therapist to clear them. Reach out to me if you want to talk more about clearing. I would love to support you in that. Clearing things has been one of the most liberating things in my own life, and I love to see the lightness that comes and the joy that you can experience in life and in dating when you start to clear more and more and more of your stuff. So, and past hurts. But giving you this practical tool right now today that you can take home with you and you can practice in a ghosting situation is if you put this 5-minute timer on your phone and just let yourself feel everything you're feeling, but let yourself feel it in your body. Try to get in your body, try to get it out of your head a little bit, let whatever is happening, the story, whatever happened, but really feel it in your body and feel the feelings completely for 5 minutes. And at the end of the 5 minutes, take a deep breath, say to yourself, I can't change it, okay? And next, you say to yourself, what is in my control now? What's in my control now? What will move me in the direction that I want to go, and what do I want? So in this particular example, there can be a lot of things going on with ghosting because ghosting can happen at all different levels of engagement cycles in dating, okay? So, it could be anywhere from a ghost of like on an app where you haven't even met the person to initial texting from somebody you met in person or met online to, right before a first date, to any time along the dating cycle, to actually when you feel that you're in relationship with somebody. So that's a huge difference between every single one of those examples when ghosting happens. But in general, across all of these things, what's going to be really important to you right now is to re-engage in yourself, in your own priorities, in your own projects, and what makes you happy, and what you're passionate about, and where you're going with your life. So if you can really think about that, and you can circle back with a friend, with a coach, with a therapist, with a companion. I do this coaching as well, where you can kind of circle back to get clarity on that situation. But right now in this moment, when you're going through this mental loop and this emotional state, think about what is fulfilling to you. What's in your control? What do you want? So maybe it's you want to go work out. Maybe it's you want to play the guitar. Maybe it's you're working on a work project. You want to sit down and start to work on that work project. What brings you fulfillment? Think about what you really want, and then go ahead and go after exactly what it is that you really want. Okay? And you can, if in the beginning you might find like this is really challenging. And I actually do much more in-depth clearing exercises with people. We'll go really deep in to clear stuff that has roots way back in childhood, that feels like it's repeating, and really work on that and clear it in a more embodied way so you get freer and freer and freer with time. But just doing this practice, what this is going to do, it's going to start new neurological pathways. So even if it feels really challenging the first time to refocus your energy on yourself and your own passions, just trust me that all of life is practice. And the more that you practice doing this, the easier over time it'll become. So all of a sudden it turns into something that's an automatic habit that you pick up. It's like a program running on a computer. You'll pick up and you'll automatically want to start to do that. And your emotional response to a situation like this will start to completely change. And I'm going to get into the next thing about ghosting too, how your perception will change about that, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, so what you're doing is you're actually rewiring your brain. Now, not only do people talk about how changing these little shifts that we do, these kind of practices like the 5-minute rule, it's like building a muscle in your brain. You actually change the structures of your brain. Okay, just like when you go to the gym and all of a sudden you see that you have more muscle, okay? That there's actual fibers that are being built. Well, within this practice, you're actually changing the neurological structure of your brain and what your default is. So you're becoming a different person and your brain has a different structure and you will change that forever. You can be over time completely free forever. In our coaching this morning, Hal Elrod, I love to get coaching with all different incredible thinkers and really use it for my own life and then bring the knowledge out to you. One example that he said was that when he started to use the 5-minute rule, he found that it got to be a point where he could just get into feeling the feeling and accepting it and moving on in 1 minute. And he was like, I don't even know what I want to do with the other four minutes. I don't want to be in these feelings anymore. I'm over it. I'm ready to move on. So again, in summary there, what you're going to do with the 5-minute rule is you'll put on your phone a timer and let yourself feel all the feelings that you're feeling in that moment. Whatever shade of feeling, feel it in your body. At the end of that, you want to take a deep breath and say, I can't change it. And then as you go into this acceptance, after you say, I can't change it, you're going to focus on, okay, what do I have control over? What do I want? And what am I going to focus on my energy now? What would make me feel good right now in this moment? The next piece about ghosting is that as you take on these types of shifts and other shifts in attachment and in self-esteem and in boundaries and in different things that I go over in various different videos and then a lot more in my coaching as well. And my coaching, these videos are really to just give you like some of these things to go out and like whether or not you ever see me again, think of this video again, or, well, I hope you think of it in terms of doing practice, or, we ever meet for you to actually just go out and use this and make your life better today. But one of the things that you can get into is you can realize how boring it is to date people who ghost. It's just kind of boring. Like when it's just kind of boring to date somebody who's emotionally unavailable or ghosting or a poor communicator, when you are being wooed and pursued or pursued, best word, by people who are great communicators and by people who are really excited to be engaged with you on all different levels. It starts to become this thing where you can feel there's like this dissonance. It's like, why would I want to be over here if there's so many good options up here? And it can just feel boring. And I know that might feel really different right now because sometimes because of a childhood imprint and different relationships that you had in your childhood with various caregivers and in the formative years, you can actually get a lot more sexually attracted to emotionally unavailable men or emotionally unavailable women or poor communicators or people that that might have less integrated shadow elements and like just can't even like handle those, or might be checked out for whatever other reason. Sometimes people are just busy and they're just not even interested in a relationship with you. That I would also say that they're not necessarily emotionally available, they're emotionally available to engage with you. So this is not a reflection of like anybody per se that you have been dating, but people that are interested in engaging with you are going to show up and show you that they're interested in engaging with you. And over time, ghosting can just kind of be boring, especially when there's lots of other people who can show up and treat you in a way where that you really enjoy being treated as in a dating situation, that show up, that are excited to see you, that are excited to engage with you, that are excited to communicate with you. So hope this helps you today. If you're experiencing this right now, I'm sending you my deep love and compassion. I've experienced it as well. I think all of us have. And, on the other side, you can get to the point you're kind of, oh, well, next, or, oh, well, next experience, and get a little bit bored with it. So there you go. I hope you go out and practice this. If you're feeling this, like, don't watch 20 more YouTube videos about it. Stop right now and just give it a whirl. Okay. Wishing you so much luck in life and love. You can subscribe here to get more videos, and you can always find out more about me and about coaching and working with me at carriemargaret.com. Sending you lots of love.